Hey, Ronnie, give us just a minute.
What is up, my friends? How are you doing?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Ronnie. Doing good, thanks. You?
And Donna.
Hey, Donna. Hey, Legion. Legion Corey. Good to see you, pal.
Ronnie, are you driving?
Hit that speaker button, bud.
Oh yes. Sorry. I'm in my car. I'm at the Tesla charging stations. I got another like 10 minutes to charge. I'm gonna hit the road. It should be nice and quiet. Yeah, it should be good to go. And I'm here, and hopefully I don't lose service. I'm like almost I'm in a good area now that the service spots are gonna should be good. So
Uh,
I'm here.
awesome. You want to go ahead, Brian?
Yeah, thanks for joining us, my friend. I've been really excited to talk with you. Like one of the things, I don't know if you've heard any of our shows really after the World Series. During the World Series, we kind of did like World Series stuff, and then now we're just like having different people and talking about whatever interesting stories or things like that. We had Robert Chip Burner Turner tell us that this is my all-time favorite, Sherry. He told us that he vouched for for what's his name?
um,
I forget.
was
What's his name? Ultimate bet guy. Um,
Harrison?
oh
Not
gosh,
Harrison. Oh my God. Oh,
no,
now that
no.
you'll
Um,
get back to it. Go ahead.
yeah. So who's the guy that won the main? Uh, um, um, Gosh, what's his name? Russ Hamilton. So, so there was one time where some Russ Hamilton owed somebody some money, and Robert's like, "Oh, don't worry, bro. He's like the he's good, totally good for it." Ends up being the guy that allegedly steals like $40 million from the poker community. So,
Yeah,
fuck.
we can talk about that a litll later as we get more viewers, or even now. I know people just come on and step out and step in, but yeah, it's funny because he had a huge tie to Aruba, and he was recently chased off that island, and that island is like a second home to me, and we're trying to continuously grow poker in Aruba, and Aruba's taking some big shots. One being the UB stuff. Although when they hosted UB, it all ran kosher. Everybody was paid. It went fine. It just UB went down as it did in its own for that super user stuff. Like it didn't affect the island. And then because they were the only people that came down and ran tournaments in Aruba and had a little period of time where nothing was going on besides people coming down and playing cash. And Russ Hamilton had his own fucking casino down there, even after all the shit came out about him. He ran a casino at the Rio for like 5 or 6 years. He had a room there, and then I think they finally like chased him off the island like in 2017-18 and got him out of there. I know we had PPC down there, which anybody who knows about that, uh, robbed one of the poker rooms blind, the one that I represent now and try to help. They took so much money from them and scammed a lot of players. So now we had the WSOP for the last 3 years, ran successfully, an amazing event, and they recently pulled out for um, doing tournaments in the Bahamas now because they have a contract with the Atlantis. So unfortunately, we stopped we cut our relationship with them, and then we have our own Caribbean poker series happening at the end of September, which is going to be a lot of fun. Aruba is like one of the nicest places in the world to visit. It's like people who've never been. I just want them to go one time because I know if they go once, they'll keep going back. By far, the nicest island in the Caribbean,
Well,
in my
I'm
opinion.
going to look
So
forward to coming to that series at one point. But before we go any further, I just need to introduce you properly. I'm just kind of an old fashioned kind of radio gal when it comes to this, Ronnie. So here we go. Ronnie is the proud owner of a WSOP bracelet that he won in the 2012 WSOP main event. $2,500 limit hold'em six-handed event, stuffing his pockets with a little more than $182,000. Ronnie is from Massachusetts, and his family ties are in Israel. He enjoys beatboxing, hiking, and kickboxing, as well as Muay Thai.
Muay
Did I say
Yes.
Muay
Muay Thai.
Thai? Which he spent 2 months in Thailand learning how to compete. For those that are curious, Muay Thai is an 8-point striking system.
Oh, we are blowing it.
Muay
Oh, okay.
Thai.
What?
Muay Thai.
Oh, there you go. All right,
Um,
you got it.
is
You
an
got it.
8-point striking system in comparison to kickboxing, which is only a 4-point system. Our guest competed on the Survivor Island of the Idols season, and sadly was voted out early in the season. Ronnie's largest catch was $317,000 for his 24th place finish in the 2010 WSOP
I got
event.
it higher than that. Ronnie, what is it? Do you know?
It's okay if Sherry wasn't done. I'm humbly
Oh,
speaking. I actually chopped the World Poker Tour for 567 2 years ago,
Oh,
but maybe that's not
it's
on
not on there.
listed.
It's not on there. It wasn't on there
Oh,
because I was going to ask you when I was done with this because I don't even think some of the caches this year were on it. But anyway, I can only
yeah.
go
Go
with
ahead.
what's produced, right?
I
Um,
appreciate it.
of course, honey, no worries. Ronnie holds the record for the most consecutive World Series of Poker main event money finishes with a streak of 5 years in a row from 2010 to 2014. And this is where I question what they had on there. You have, according to this, 43 WSOP caches for 882,000, 12 circuit caches for over 45,000, and one cache internationally for over 1,900. Back in the day, you could see Ronnie on Live at the Bike. In 2014, he was part of what I think is one of the best poker content ever in his heads up match, heads up, sorry, hand with Miss Fidlin, who bluffed him right into the sharp cage. I heard you're a sports card collector. Do you collect all sports or just certain teams?
I collect all sports cards. Mostly baseball, vintage. I love baseball and basketball. I do have a little hockey, and I do have some football as well, but I'm primarily old vintage 50s, 40s, 60s baseball. So 40s, 50s, 60s, and I love like old 70s and 80s basketball and some 60s as well. But I like 90% of my collection is in vintage baseball cards for a lot of reasons that we can discuss if anybody wants to talk about that. But yeah, I love collecting. It's just more so because it's just pure Americana, and it's like it's encapsulate the time like during the 50s 40s in the card itself. Like you can see the progression of life moving forward in like the history of these cards, and it just really captures that time. Like if you look at a card from 1961, it literally brings you back to that era, and you can just see like how cards become more futuristic and how they look. And like an 80s baseball card just looks like 1985 and aligns with Back to the Future and Sony fucking Walkmans and
I
all of that.
love it.
I just
I
love it all.
love the passion you have for it. How big do you think your collection is?
I would say in terms of money, in terms of like asset wise, like how much it's
No, no, no,
worth,
no, no, no,
probably over
no. Like, how many cards are
uh,
in your collection, would you say?
thousands. Thousands of cards. I got rid of a lot. I took a lot of the junk era stuff that were worth nothing or worth like pennies, and each card worth pennies. Some were worth dollars, and I gave it to Children's Hospital like 6-7 years ago because
Sweet.
they're just yeah, the kids like them and they put them in little packs. So like if anybody's listening collects cards, just like you can give your cards that aren't worth much to like a children's hospital because kids just like opening new things and don't have the money to buy new stuff. And sometimes there'll be a Frank Thomas or things that may be valuable to them, and they really, and also it piques interest for kids to collect later in life, and it grows the brand, it grows like the hobby. Let me just get my card.
I love that, Ronnie. What a great idea,
I'm
folks.
just gonna get my car off the charger real
Go
quick.
ahead, Brian. You go
Go
ahead
ahead.
and ask questions.
Yeah, that was crazy. I can tell you that as somebody that has a kid that's been in children's hospital, like it's really touching to see, like what you did there, Ronnie. Like, um, we were in during her birthday a couple times, and they didn't just walk in with like some crap birthday present. Like they literally walked in with something that was like picked out for her, not even just something, like multiple things. Like it was like just unbelievably touching to have a somebody that's you know in the hospital at that time, and then the nurses walk in with that stuff. So like you enable them to make that magic, and I would definitely call it that, because like to us it would like just totally blew us away, honestly.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I can't, I know what it is to have family in hospitals and have people pass away and everything. But for kids, for any kid to go through anything just at a young age, it's like it's just such, you know, I can't imagine having any child in a hospital, any kind of illness or anything that's serious. It's something, it's hard to, I can't relate to that. That's not
And what
so,
a great way
but
for them to pass time and for the parents to see the joy while they're passing their time. I think that is just such a great thing for you to do and for you to suggest. So love it.
there's so many people that have so many cards that, for them, they aren't worth grading, but to a kid, that could be worth the big difference of making them smile that day. And like, some of these cards are worth $4 or $5, $10, and these kids can hold on to them. And some players are overlooked because they're not famous, they're not doing well now. A lot of rookies who aren't the major draw, sometimes 4 or 5 years from now could be worth thousands, of a couple thousand, because they were overlooked, like a Tom Brady. Like there were so many of his cards that were given away, I imagine, in 2001 and 2002, and then because he wasn't anything, and then like later they're like, oh shit, this guy, because with his draft year he was drafted last. Everybody's going for the first round pick, the first pick, first round,
Right.
and that's what's collected, and then those guys can be a bust, and guys later down the road could become the biggest name in football, basketball, baseball, whatever the sport is, and it could be worth a lot of money. So all I'm saying is it's nice to give back a little, and charity's always good. Charitable situations are always great. So
100%.
I'm
anyhow.
gonna mention I'm gonna mention it to. It's funny how this like show, like we start talking about stuff like this, and it reminds me. I'm gonna mention it to my friend. He runs an Instagram comic books show, and I'm sure he has tons of stuff that he could give that would, you know, that isn't necessarily going to cost him as much as it would, like putting a smile on a kid's face. That just stuff, all kinds of stuff. I'm sure he could find stuff that he could donate. Like
Yeah,
that's just
especially the new cards. The new cards are so shiny, and they're not like the 80s and 90s stuff that get away. They're just all cardboard. They're kind of boring. The new stuff's really cool. So
Well, tell me this. What do
yeah.
you think? Speaking of the new stuff, I have kids, and of course, we have tons of collectibles, even though they're in their 30s, but whatever. And I'm all about it. What do you think about these new like package openings, hunting for these, one of a kind autographed, cards that as soon as you open it is, worth $1 million or whatever? What do you think of that whole thing?
so I think you're talking about the breaking business and people going
Yes.
online and participating, and everybody pays like a decent amount. Or it's a big gambling aspect. If you're looking to collect, I mean, it's fun. You're gambling. You're part of this like cool you know
Hunt. I call it a hunt.
stream, a cool
Right.
stream. Yeah, they're streaming it. You wait your turn. You get a certain team or certain pack in the wax. It's fun. But if you're looking for a specific card, you're better off just going out and buying it raw or buying it graded already. And if you think that player's going to be big, just holding on to it instead of looking for them in breaks, because breaks, like, you can get lucky once in a while, but they're just like slot machines. Like 90% of the people are going to get wrecked, and 10% of the people are gonna hit, and it's just pure gambling. But it is fun. I don't. I'm not really into them. I have a lot of friends who run breaking business. Not a lot of friends, but I have a couple friends who actually run breaking businesses. so they wouldn't like to hear what I have to say about them, but about the business. But I like it. It's a cool motto. But if I go for a player, I just go and try to find this player raw, or go buy them, grade it, and instead of just, But if you're chasing $1 million card, you can't afford $1 million card, so you try to break and find them. I'm just talking about
Right.
like $500, $1,000 or $2,000 guy that you want to buy and hold on to. You think has like I said, I'm into vintage, so I'm buying players that have already been proven and that are more safe. I buy the stuff that the Willie Mays, the Mickey Mantles, the Hank Aaron's, and guys that have already been proven. And I think that's more safer investment. And I like buying those guys. I like holding on to like vintage stuff, not the mass produced stuff. But the 101s are cool. The
Yeah, I think
101s.
it's a cool
You know,
concept. We watched a special. I think it was, I don't even remember what card it was, but they were only down to like 24. They had these special cases and that they were selling, and I want to say it was like 100,000 or something to even just get one case, because they narrowed it down that there were only X amount of cases left. And that one, it may have been a LeBron card. I don't even know. But anyway, that it still had not been found. And, it was just kind of fun to watch the special show that they made about it, and, the hunt for it. And like you, I kind of am soft hearted for the older, um, the old Tops cards and the ones that used to come with the bubble gum. And, we still have some cases up here in, a closet in my home that are not broke. They're from the 70s and 80s and 90s. And you know what? And it's fun just to have them, right? So, anyway, Brian, go ahead. You got questions?
Ro- So, Ronnie, I was thinking about how to put. I was going to put this on the invite for the space, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was going to bill you as the best poker player to ever play Survivor. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think Garrett takes that. I think he's an amazing cash game player. If you want to say the best tournament player to play Survivor,
Well, you're my favorite poker player to play for my
I appreciate that.
Survivor. Let's just say that, I
Do
guess.
you prefer
Yeah,
cash
no,
or tournaments, Ronnie?
Ronnie, I
Oh,
remember sitting down to watch that. I'm all excited with. I got my whole family there. We're gonna sit down, and then I was so bummed. So here's what I think. Like, do you think like maybe we could get like the Spaces crew to start the campaign to get Ronnie Bardah back on Survivor for another try here?
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly love to get back on. Tell me if my connection's fine. Is
Yeah,
it
you're
noisy?
good. You're good. Yeah.
Um, I have to ramp up my social media presence. I got to do like motivation Mondays, and like just get out there and start putting more pictures out there and getting more live, because I've kind of been a little absent. But I would love to get back on. I was kind of, unfortunately had a little illness prior to going on, and was in rough shape on there when I went out, and unfortunately that led to my demise and led to me being out first. I'm telling you, that's what's really happened. And I would love to get back on, and if they do a first boot season, I would imagine they'd reach out. Jeff Probst recently talked about that again. I
That'd be
would be
great.
devastated if he didn't reach out to me. So I have to I need to do the work. I have my connections. I need to get back out there and start reaching out to the community and showing them that because they might see me as a liability, because they don't really know me down to the core. They could think I'm a little on the crazy side because of how I was acting out there when I was really out there. But maybe I'm being a bit too critical of myself, because they know me, they know the person they casted, and I'm sure they know they seen a different person when I was out there. And I'm hoping that if they ever do run our first boot season or our second chances for people that were voted out super early, I would get another chance to be on there, because I love the show and it was great. And shout out to Coco. I see him in the listening spaces here. I see his face. Shout out to Matt Vanguard as well, listening in.
Very good.
So
Yeah, like I think like if I didn't know you, just from the outside, Ronnie, like my impression would be that you're always authentic. Like honestly, like I think that you're the guy that that will, just put it out there and I'm not saying like you're the guy that just purposely tries to be controversial or anything, but like, you've always been somebody that, stood up for what's right and that sort of thing, I guess is the thing that I would say, just in general.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I try to just be myself, no matter, how I just try to remain my true self, and usually that doesn't rub people the wrong way or ruffle any feathers. Sometimes I can be a little controversial in some of my opinions, and I just don't think there's any room to be fake in this life. I think life is short, and I think you should be your authentic self at all times. And if people love you, they love you, and if they don't like you, it's fine. Like, you're not going to please everybody, and I think it's something that you have to learn as you go. Like, in my 20s, it really hurt me that if anybody didn't like, I wanted to please everyone, and I wanted to make everyone happy around me, and I ended up like tiring myself out, and
Ronnie, can you hear
Oh
us?
no, he jumped it.
You cut out,
There
bud.
it goes.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Yep.
It
You're
just cut
good.
out at
Hello?
the very end. But hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ronnie. You're
Can you
good.
hear us though?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
All right,
If I
good.
keep losing service, I said I'm gonna be a little spotty because I am driving to LA. I thought I was in the great zone where I wouldn't lose you guys once in a while, and I apologize if it happens. But within the next 20 minutes, I'll be into the like San Bernardino County with buildings around, like, shops and stuff, and I should be good for the next hour and a half.
Are you going to
Oh yeah.
Grayton?
I'm not going to Grayton. I'm really just driving to play a little Cash at the Commerce, and then Saturday and Sunday hang out with a lot of friends in Hermosa Beach and just kind of taking some time off of poker. And then instead of Grattan, I'm going to Arizona for the Arizona State Championships next weekend. It's a good event down there, so I'm not gonna be in Grattan or Grayton, however you pronounce that. So,
Do you
yeah.
prefer cash or tournaments, Ronnie?
I prefer playing cash games, but I enjoy playing tournaments more. That makes sense. So I think, to stay balanced in the poker world, very few people can play poker tournaments for a living, and I think that's their decision to do it full time. And as you get older, if you want to, start a family or find that, that balance and stay in one area and be part of a community, playing tournaments for a living is very hard. I do enjoy playing tournaments. Obviously, you can have a big score, which I've had a few times, and it's so amazing when you hit a big one, and it's great. But I like playing cash games 90% of the time because that allows me to be able to like do normal things and hang out with my friends, and it's playing tournaments for a living is tough. It's so time consuming, and you kind of become a slave to the game, and it's hard for me. As you get older, I kind of been primarily a cash game player, but I do enjoy the World Series. Like, I'll go hard for that month and a half, and then I'll play an event here and there. I'll play 4 or 5 tournaments through the year. That's about it these days. So, yeah.
And Sherry, yours truly tried to bluff Ronnie in a cash game at Bellagio
I bet
once.
that didn't go too well.
Yeah, I was on the freeway driving home within like probably 15 minutes after that.
Oh,
You just got unlucky. I had it, man. If I know how to fold, and like I can make some good deals once in a while, but
no, I had like 8 high or something. I'm just jamming it on him.
shout out to Luke coming in and out. I see Luke Rabel just tapping the button in and out, which is hilarious.
well, I think that there's some alternative motives for those that keep doing that, and it's a shame that they're choosing to do that. But we're just going to ignore it.
Oh no, yeah, it's they kind of want to see more people in here or whatever. It's okay. It's people. That's the spaces. You can jump in and out anytime you want. It's the beauty of it. You can listen for a little while. You can come back in 20 minutes. Or whatever whatever's good for you. It's all good. It's all good.
I think it's amazing, honestly. Like the Spaces thing is really cool. Like just to be able to do that. I know it seems like you came into poker early 2000s about the same time I did, right?
Yeah, I started playing.
2000s.
I started playing poker late nine, like really like 98, 99, but more so 2002, three, and obviously I'm one of a product of the moneymaker boom, and it just took like everyone by storm, especially within my group of friends, and even where I grew up, people were playing poker in the basements of homes and clubs and sitting goes, and we used to put $5 or $10 in the middle and just play for it, and everybody gets chips. We used to bump the blinds up, and it was crazy. And then a lot of us went down to Foxwoods and started playing, and this is my area. I grew up in South Boston. I grew up in Brockton, so I used to go down to Foxwoods, and I loved playing there. That's kind of where I cut my teeth and played a lot of no limit and limit hold'em cash, stud cash, and then started playing tournaments and started going to Borgata down in Atlantic City and Tropicana down there in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And then, went to Vegas in 05. I mean, I can keep going, but I'll stop for now. So.
Right. It was such a crazy time. Is just like thinking about, you'd have these little home game tournaments or whatever, and there's like 70, 80 people there. It's just like so absurd.
Yeah,
it's a crazy time.
They ran a lot of those like bar tournaments when I was in my early 20s, and they ran a lot of like VFW stuff. And Eastern Poker Tour got pretty big. They run stuff at the Golden Nugget now every year. The bar poker league that started in southeastern Massachusetts.
Wow.
And I was there at one of these like bar tournaments. One of my friends invited me in 04 or 05, and I went there and showed up, and it was a lot of fun. And now these guys are like countrywide bar tournaments, and they represent it at like 40 different locations across the country, mostly on the East Coast, and then they run their main events in like Vegas during the World Series. And I think it's really cool. It's really cool how poker's just it's just growing at an exponential rate, especially with COVID and everything. A lot of new people coming in. I think we're in the middle of another poker boom right now.
Well, and I think that bar league is just such a great stepping stone for the rec players. It's awesome.
I've always been
great.
I've always been, and I think I've seen you a lot of times, like really just accommodating to people, that are out there at the World Series for their first time and stuff like that. Like I just love that. Like these, especially they have, like these leagues and stuff like that where they'll award a main event seed or even like the 1500s or down to the Colossus buy-ins. They'll send a few guys out to try to play. It's just I just always love to see those people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a question in there, but
no, I try to be nice. As we're all human. We have our off days. Sometimes we're not as vocal or we don't want to talk as much. But like, I'm throughout my whole career playing. You lost me again?
Yeah, you're just going in and out. Give it a couple of seconds. There you go.
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You guys there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I get into it at the table sometimes, just like everybody else. It's sometimes poker can be a little, nuts and different personalities clash. But for the most part, I try to be a light at the table, and I try to be extremely nice to anybody's, whatever their experience level is. I don't, I always find it so funny when I see like some other pros act super cocky or weird at the table, or just like it's really cringeworthy, and I think it's really funny, and I don't understand it. But
what did you think
I'm not trying to
about what did you think about what took place at the Tropicana the other night? between
I think
Jason
there was.
and Austin.
Oh, I think you dropped out, Ronnie.
Yeah, I'm here. Back. Am I back? I'm back.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
You came out of the abyss.
I think that I honestly think that was the first kid who was yelling at the other gangster looking character who was like, "You don't
Right,
know me." That
Jason.
kid, yeah, that kid was using his bipolar diagnosis as an excuse to be a piece of shit. I don't like when people use some of their mental disorders if they're diagnosed with anything I just feel like he was over.
Oh, you're cut out.
I don't disagree.
Ronnie, you're cut out.
There.
Give it a second to
I
come
feel
back.
bad.
But
No, it's okay. Just give it a
Hello.
second,
you're
bud.
all right.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back now.
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I just think that there's a lot of crazy people out there, and I think poker attracts a lot of scummy people. But it is what it is, you know. Um, I just think there was somebody else at that table that somebody said that they're just scummy and they've done a lot of crooked things, and unfortunately, poker brings a lot of people in that aren't the best and that are huge action though, and it's just part of the it's just part of the environment. And I just think though that a little interaction was crazy. I've seen stuff like that, not obviously that much on streams, but these two didn't
Yeah.
care. You know, these two didn't care. They went off on each other, and I think that kid, the first kid, got himself into something that he didn't really want. I don't know what he was doing. It just shows that he was bragging about how much Molly and mushrooms he's done. I would say just stay off drugs, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard
And
that microdosing shrooms can be beneficial for a lot of people dealing with things out there. So I don't want to just throw that out there, but to the effect of where it's affecting your life and you're being a piece of shit like that on stream, or I don't know. I just
well, tell me what
I,
you think the
I mean,
repercussions should be from their actions.
I don't think there should be any. I mean, it's the poker big poker bet or whatever the name of that thing is at the Tropicana has to hold themselves accountable for letting these people play. Um, it's not anyone's fault. I don't think. I just think they should never have them on the
well,
show again. That's it.
Ronnie, the bigger problem is they're sitting there with what, an hour delay or half an hour delay or whatever it is, and they're like, let's just roll with this. Like, why they didn't cut the stream before that and never release that footage is just beyond me.
I think
I
it's.
don't think it's a good look for them.
I mean, I don't know if it's not a good look. I just think drama sells, unfortunately, and fortunately. I think drama's cool, and sometimes drama's going to be very disrespectful. I think a lot of people are glued to some of these crazy reality TV shows because they want to see people burn. They want to feel the burn. They want to see the drama. They want to see somebody go be like, "Fuck you! I hope you this, you that." It's unfortunately people aren't attracted to watching the National Geographic and nice things and shows and people want to see just disaster, and that was a disaster, and you see how many views it's got. People are reposting it all over Twitter, and it's like the main
Yeah.
thing right now. Nobody wants to hear Jeremy Osimus and Joseph Chong respect each other. Like, nice hand, you played that very well. Nobody
You
wants
played that great.
I don't, it's just people want to see people come at each other. That's why people are paying thousands of dollars to watch the stupidest sport ever. People are just slapping each other across the face, and I just don't get it. But it sells, and it is what it is. That's.
We all know that you're a big fan of the robot poker guys that stare lovingly into each other's eyes.
Yeah, it is. Those guys feel like they take anything away, and you know what? there's benefits to that, and there's benefits to doing what I do, and everything works for yourself, and it's just a big community of different type of people, and I'm gonna complain about them,
Yeah.
and and they're gonna laugh at me thinking I'm a fish because I talk too much, or I don't put my hands under the table in the middle of hands, and I don't balance my betting and my timing, and they might pick up some stuff from me, and that's fine. It's okay. I'm not gonna change, and I'm happy with the way I play. So,
I think that's what makes it interesting is there's so many different ways that people play. There's different philosophies. There's different ways to counter different things, and just it's always something. Every time you play, it's a different group of people in a different situation, and when you really you can really sit down and talk through a hand, and you have this really simple thing that there is a lot of complexity to, when you really get to it. So
Ronnie, did
it's
you
just
have
interesting.
somebody that you really admire or looked up to or do look up to in the poker world?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely look up to a lot of the ways people handle themselves at the poker table. Jeremy Awesomeness is definitely one of those guys, because he's been able to play the game and, play at a level for years that's been really admirable, and been able to hold his own and also raise a family, right? He's got 2 kids. He's just like an all around great guy. He's one of them, I always looked up to Phil Ivey back in the day, and he's kind of the opposite of it. Not he's a nice guy. I used to actually work for the guy when Ivy Poker was around. There are other names. I just have to start thinking of those type of guys. I always had respect for lots of different tournament guys and cash game players. Mark Gregorich is another name that I can think of. Just a really, really nice guy. Never has anything bad to say about anybody. I see pros, and I've done this before. I've gone off the table and talked to other people about how bad people play. I stopped doing that because it's not nice. It's just people are at different points of their poker career, and I don't think anybody should critique anybody's play. Do I talk about? I have a few selected friends where I talk to about this stuff. I just don't think you should badmouth people at the table when they're away, or it's just a bad look for you, and it's not good for the growth of poker. So whenever I see somebody conduct themselves in a manner where they're just super humble, they're the same guy whether they win or lose, it's really hard, to do that. And they just take things in stride, and they really approach everything professionally and super nice. And those are the people that I look up to, and I try to emulate that as much as I can, and just try to be my authentic self at all times. So.
Awesome. And what about what do you do when you're at a table and say somebody is mistreating a female? What would be your plan of action?
That's a very good question. There, not to discredit any female out there that says they've had issues with certain guys at the poker table, but sometimes I feel this is a very tough spot, because there's sometimes where I feel there's obviously some blatant disrespect. If somebody's saying some sexual stuff to a girl and getting out of line, or being completely rude and being mean, I haven't been at the table that's happened that much. Very rare I've seen that. I maybe once or twice in my whole poker career, and I'll sit there and come at that guy and be like, bro, relax, or I'll try to make light of it. I'll try to get in there, but there's some times where I see a professional poker player, a young lady, get on Twitter and complain about a guy saying,
Yeah. No. Okay. I'm with you on that. I don't even think.
you're pretty,
Yeah.
or you're this, or
Yeah.
you're beautiful, or you should stay in the kitchen. And these girls are saying this is unacceptable. This person shouldn't be allowed to play. And I'm just not just deal with it, but just exploit that and come at them. And you want to play with these guys. These are the guys who are extremely chauvinistic, who are extremely machismo, who believe women shouldn't be playing, or soft play. And you should just take their chips, smile, and use it to your advantage.
Yep.
like, you don't. If in a perfect world, there'll be a lot of guys who stink at poker and are super respectful, but that's not the case.
Let me explain to you why I asked that question. I totally agree. And
That's a
I
funny
think
response.
that, you know, there are
I
many
love it.
people that are going after the clickbait when they are trying to bring up certain topics, right? And I think this is one of those topics. But the real reason I asked you that is because we've had discussions in spaces before, and some of the guys have said, I really just don't know what to do. Because if I speak up, the woman might be insulted that I'm like trying to defend her and she can defend herself. But if I don't speak up, then am I, giving like the approval to the guy to keep on doing it? And so the real reason I asked you that question was to see how you handle that type of situation if or when you see it.
If I seen a woman in distress and she gave me the eyes and she was like, "Step in here, man. Like, I need your help," then I'll step in there. If I see blatant disrespecting somebody, either being extremely like saying something out of like left field, like,
Yeah.
I'll fucking do this to you or do that, then I'll step in, or saying something racist, I'll step in, or it's just like one of those things where I'm very practical. I'm very I can, but again, if it's just like a guy saying to a girl, I believe women should be in the kitchen. You're like, what am I? I might make fun of that guy. I'll make, but I don't think I should be like, hey, that's just stay out of this. You shouldn't be like, it's just
Yeah.
people, especially the culture, the guys from overseas, like who I seen guys give their chips to women because they don't want to be beaten by them, or it's like the way they play back at them. It's insane. And I think that, women should use it to their advantage, and it's easier said than done in my case. I'm not a girl. I'm not a woman. I obviously don't know how it feels. So I don't want to really talk about this that much because I don't know how it feels. But I think that women definitely have, if they know how to exploit it, and I know a lot of women who do, like the Itays of the world, the Jamie Kurtzetters, these girls get in there and they laugh about all the other.
And she's smiling and taking the chips.
They
I
laugh.
agree.
They reach out to me and they'll be like, "This girl's insane, writing all this stuff." Like, I just, But everybody struggles their struggles, and I don't want to discredit that, and I don't want to say like they're making a big deal out of it because to them it's disrespectful, or who am I to say it's not? So I don't know. That's
Well, Ronnie, it's really nuanced. I mean,
yeah.
honestly, it depends on what's said and how it's said and who's saying it. And I think that's where the problem comes to a lot, Ronnie, is you have somebody that like, you know, a female that maybe makes jokes or whatever, and then the guy, you know, well, there's a lot of awkward dudes in poker, number one. So
Yeah,
they
there
go
is.
and make a
Well, and
joke
I think
back,
that
and
part of it
it's
is,
like,
you know, do you say something? I mean, this was part of that discussion. Do you say something, or do you say something to the dealer, or do you just get up and go to the tournament person or the floor and say, look, there's, we need to calm this table down or whatever. So that's kind of what I was just trying to see how you would deal with it. So I see.
I think it's I think it's interesting though. I've never thought about it from the standpoint of, you know, you're sitting there playing with a Jamie Kerstetter. The guy makes a comment that's whatever, not really crazy over the line. Jamie's sitting there taking this guy's money and happy, and now you speak up and like
Well, you have
ruin
to
the whole
you have
thing
to
for
follow
him.
the female's lead, right? I mean, come on.
Yes.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, come on. You could tell if it's bothering her or not, right? And part of it could just be,
Well,
hey,
we do read people for a
yeah, but
living, so I
yeah,
think we should
exactly,
be tuned into that.
exactly.
Bobby, how are you doing?
Good evening, boys and girls. How is everyone? Just checking in on my boy Ronnie, seeing if everybody's doing okay.
Yeah, chilling, brother. How are you?
Just getting ready for this NBA season. What are you looking forward to the most out of the Celts?
I just want to see how Porzingis is going to fit in with Jaylen Brown and obviously Tatum and the rest of the team, and how they're going to play the Time Lord and and Horford and all the other, and just hopefully the amount of money they're paying for Brown, he steps up. The amount of money what they had to do to acquire Porzingis, getting rid of Smart, and moving around all the pieces. I hope the Celtics have a big year. Obviously, I want to see them win it. If they don't win it in the next 2-3 years, it's gonna be sad. It's like we paid Brown all this money and he really hasn't proven himself. Right? They got to the finals, once, right? And they got to the final. They got to they lost to Miami this time around. So I just hope that they really get back there and we get to the finals this year with all the money we're spending. And, I just really hope Porzingis is not injured. That's just my take on everything. So, yeah.
In the postmortem after the World Series, what do you do for the next couple of months after that's over?
August being one of the slowest months in Vegas. It's a month that I like to get out of Vegas. I was living in LA. I was living in LA in the Bay Area for the last 3 years, and I just came back to Vegas when my lease was over. So I'm looking forward to move back to California. But to answer your question, in August, I just try to take it easy and do more things with friends, and because that 2-month grind really takes a lot out of you, win or lose, right? I just really like to do some stuff and do things that are fun, like go camping or go hiking. I had an injury recently, so it's going to keep me from doing a lot of fun things that I really enjoy. But I just like to get out there and go to the beach and hang out with friends and get back to normal life. But I am going to Arizona to play this Arizona State Championship next weekend. So that'll be fun.
And last but not least, I was going to ask how your foot was, and have you mentally recovered from getting showered from the lady in the cashier cage yet?
Oh no, that was pretty funny. That was a really funny joke. I kind of I did that for poker.org because they were looking for funny stories. It was I kind of exaggerated all of that. Some of it was fabricated, to be honest.
So why don't you fill us all in now?
No, it was something where this girl was flirting with me at the cashier at the beginning of the World Series, and I could tell that, she was just flirting with me the whole time, and then she asked for my ID, and she realized how old I was. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
So she asked me how old. She didn't ask me how old I was. She took my ID and realized how old I was, and then looked at me, and then she's like, "Holy shit!" Her whole attitude changed. She was 21 years old. She's like, "You could be my father," and ironically, it was Father's Day, and as I was walking away, and she screamed, "This really happened!" She was like, "Happy Father's Day!" And everybody was. That's all that happened, and she looked like a baby. I had no interest. She was 21. She looked like she was extremely young, but the girl was flirting with me hard. For 5 minutes, I was in front of her because they had to call Bellagio for some chips I had because I was using Bellagio chips. And then when I seen her look at my ID, she looked up and was like, "Holy shit! I thought you were girls that are 20 can't gauge age that well." So she thought I was 30 or 28 or 29 years old. I was shaved that day. I had no gray hairs on my face. And then she was like, "You're 40?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You could be my dad." I was like, "Yeah." And then it was really funny. So that's all.
That is great. It was Father's
Hey,
Day.
Brad, what you got for us, bud?
Did they
What's
come
up,
up
y'all?
with a new name for you, Big Brain Brad? Did Coach
Notice I
new
just
name
called
I
him
heard?
Brad. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Nah, the Big Brain Brad's still running. I get nicknames all over the place, but you guys can call me whatever you want. Whatever. I appreciate you, Sherry and Brian. I love your spaces.
Thank you.
Ronnie, mad respect, man. I listen to you in these spaces. I watched you play a little bit, and man, I got nothing but respect for you, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's very nice of you. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say, I'm out here in Arizona. I played in the Arizona State Championship a couple of times. It's an amazing tournament. Personally, one of my personal favorite tournaments of the year, just because it's a lot of locals that I've played with for the last decade plus. There's some amazing dealers that are there too. A couple of the dealers at Arizona State Championship dealt the main event final table. I saw two of them. So it's just for me, it's an amazing tournament. They have a really good prize pool. for an $1,100 tournament, you're talking, usually they get like 1,500 entries plus. I've never seen it short of 1,500 since I've been playing it. And they're going to crush the 1.1 million estimate that they're putting on it. I don't know if you know who's emceeing the tournament, but Tiffany Michelle is going to be emceeing it, which I'm really excited about. She's just an amazing presence. I got to play with her last year, and it's just a really great tournament. And I'm about 75%. I'm going to be playing it, and I would love to connect with you, even if I just grab a picture with you, grab a beer or something post tournament or something.
100%. Just to echo everything you just said, Brad. Like, first off, thank you for all the compliments. I really appreciate it. And second off, I think Talking Stick Casino is the most friendliest, nicest place to play in the country, bar none. Like, there's a couple other places I can mention aside it, but I think the people you don't. So the amount of recs that, like, the percentage of recreationals there is higher than anywhere else in the country. First off, right? So that's why it makes it such a great place to play, because you don't have a lot of grumpy pros that walk in there all the time. You get like Death Donkey that comes in there. His name is Chris Fitch, and you have a lot of other pros that play there, the mixed game guys, and they're usually all nice guys. Like, the mixed game crew are really cool. But when you come to like No Limit Hold'em and PLO, you have some scattered pros, but I've been there. One of my best friends lives in Arizona. His name is Justin Peachy. He's like a brother to me. He goes by Lucial out there. And this will be like my third or fourth time playing the Arizona State Championships. I try to go down. I used to go down a lot more often, like 4 times a year. So now I try to go like twice a year. I love Arizona. I love Scottsdale. I love that area. The dealers are amazing. The players are great. They could do a better job at running the tournament in terms of like how they structure it, and they're just kind of like, they do their own thing, but all in all, like, they do a good job. Good thing about that tournament is most people are going to be up at Grattan to try to like win a ring and circuit ring, so it's just going to be a really fun tournament to play, and it's just like all locals. And you'll have like Kelly Minkin because she's a local. You'll have Justin Peachy. You'll have Tiffany Michelle, who, like, just to go and talk about Tiffany Michelle, she's doing an amazing job at poker.org. Like, there's nobody else I'd rather watch when it comes to poker content than her right now. She's crushing it. I can't wait to be down there. I'm going to head down there on next Wednesday. And I'll be there for like 6 days, Wednesday to Tuesday, most likely. And I'm looking forward to play cash. If you're there, Brad, come up, bro, like any fucking time, and just tap me on my shoulder. I'll grab a drink.
For sure.
I can't actually drink right now because I'm on some medication, but I'm to like, grab a mocktail and
whatever,
shoot the shit, anytime, bro.
Yeah, man. Definitely. And what I'm thinking, man, like, I think we should do like little mini spaces event for the AZ State Championships. It's kind of what I'm thinking. I might just go up there, even if I go bust, just like kind of like lurk in the room and like do a AZ State Championship spaces for it or something.
There you go.
I had a couple of buddies that I played with that ended up heads up a couple of years ago. One of them, his name is Turtle. He finished second, and he went heads up against what's his fucking name? He ended up winning it. He ran deep in the main event this year. I'll think of his name in a few minutes, but Albert. Albert. Let me think of his last name. And he made a WPT final table. And then there was what's his name? He has the ship. I'm drawing a blank his name. He won one of the Arizona State Championships. He's a real funny character. Pat Lyons.
Oh, Pat Lyons.
Pat Lyons.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, he won one of the Arizona State Championships, and he's usually comes back to play. So there's some good names that come through there, and some great players. The recs there are incredible.
That's great.
It's a great tournament. I really, really, really enjoyed the tournament. Did you play the rain out year, Ronnie? I was there
the rain out year and had to leave. Yeah, they gave us our money back, refunded everyone. I actually didn't play yet. Like, I didn't play day 1A. I was there to play day 1B and C, and I think that those 2 days were canceled, and I was given a refund. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was flooded for a while. They closed down the casino. I remember me, Chris Treber, and Kevin Colenso went down there for that event, and it's a great tournament. And like, anybody can win any tournament, but even more so the Arizona State Championship, because the structure is not like super great. It's not super bad, but Like it can be, toward the end a little crapshooty, which is great for Rex, and that's
Right.
what you want to accommodate is the Rex, and you always see a lot of Rex at the final table, and I think it's an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
So I'll just share the quick story on the rain out year. So I actually satellited twice into that tournament. I won 2 satellites that year, and I played 1A, and we get down to the last hour. I ended up ace king versus ace queen, and queen on the river bust like 45 minutes before the day ends. And anybody who bags, basically you cash, right? So on 1A at about midnight, we had one of the sickest monsoons out here that we've ever had. They had like a dam on the golf course that broke, and it flooded. Basically, what ended up happening is the rain, the wind, and all that combined. Basically, the casino ended up getting flooded on the first floor, and they evacuated the casino, canceled the tournament, and cashed out the Arizona State Championship based on 1A results. Anybody who bagged chip stacks, they ICM'd it. And 1B, 1C pre-entries, like you said, got the refund. And it was the only time I've ever ran into a rain out in a poker tournament. But I just wanted to share the story.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
pretty wild. It was pretty wild for sure.
What year was that, Brad?
2018, I think, or 18.
Yep. I think you're in the right wheelhouse. Yep, 18, 19,
not very
something
long
like that.
ago. I can't believe I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
One last thing, real quick, about Talking Stick. They are redoing the poker room. So, Ronnie, if you haven't been there in a year or so,
I've been there. Yeah, I was there recently. I was there a few months ago. They're in the tent still.
Yep. That's where I was going with it. And I think they're going to be in the tent for one more year, I think. And then next year they should have the new room built. They got a pretty fucking big room. In the original room, they had like 50, and I think right now they got 70 tables. And I think the new room, once they're completed, I think it's going to have like 80 tables.
Okay.
But yeah, nonetheless, like it's a great room. Kind of, it's everything that Ronnie was saying. It's just a really good vibe there, and I really enjoy playing there a lot. It's basically been my home room for the last 15 years.
You're a lucky man to have that as your home room. It could be, trust me, a lot worse. You live in a great ecosystem of poker players, and you have a great room. Like I'm jealous for anybody who lives and gets to grind there, 3-4 days a week or whenever they want. It's really nice there. I really love it.
I've only stayed there for one weekend, and I absolutely was impressed. It was a lot of fun and well run for sure. So good luck there, Brad.
Brad, give us your schedule this weekend. Are you doing any streaming?
Yeah. I stream on Twitch for the Club WPT community. I stream every Sunday. We got some big events going this Sunday. I usually try to work in DJs into my stream based on their schedule, of course, because especially during the summer, DJs got really, really busy schedules during the summer. So I usually do some sort of collab with DJs in my streams. But even if I don't have a DJ, I'm playing music, doing song requests, and just hanging and vibing. And so Sunday will definitely be my stream day this week. As far as the spaces go, I haven't really hosted too many spaces lately. I got 3 kids, and they're just back in school in the last couple of weeks. I'm just kind of trying to re-navigate my schedule since they've been out of, from summer going back into school. And honestly, in this last week, I honestly really haven't even been in spaces too much.
I've been trying.
But, nonetheless, as far as the spaces go, I might start hosting some more spaces once I kind of gain ground on the schedule back with the kids and everything. Likely will be like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, mid-afternoon type of thing. But yeah, this Sunday, if you guys can, I stream on Twitch. I would love anybody to stop on by. Usually a good time. But appreciate
I'll probably
you.
be in Cherokee playing, but I will look forward to you coming back and hosting some spaces, and
Brad,
love it.
Brad, what about instead of a DJ? What about a beatboxer?
Oh, I've been wanting to talk to Ronnie about this. Ronnie, smash me a follow on Twitter. I got some ideas I want to run by you, man. And I definitely want to connect with you. But yeah, I talked to the thesaurus about this idea a little bit. I'm actually working on trying to take this idea to an IRL, a real life experience. I'm working on a watch party with the WPT in December for the final table, bringing DJs and kind of bringing like the bet. What's the thing that Spanky and Real Fats are doing this week
The Bet
with
Bash.
Circa?
The Bet
Yes.
Bash.
So basically, I want to kind of have like that bet bash kind of like ambiance, if you will, for the final table watch party that's going to happen in December. Still got some details I got to work out, but yeah, I'm just really excited, and Sherry and Brian, like, it's super kind of you to give me like a spot to say all that, and I didn't.
Well, as long as you don't say that you're going to try to do a poker beatbox opera or something like that. Like we're not down
Oh my
with
God.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.
Oh my God. I can't believe you.
that.
Oh well. Well, what is the date? What are the dates for that series at Talking Stick, you guys?
I'll pull it up right now. I think
it starts now. They have
yeah.
this weekend. They have a mystery bounty this weekend. I won't be there for that. And then the main event's next weekend. I think they just have 2 tournaments. There'll be great cash action in between. They're running some good games, and
100%.
yeah, it's just 2 big tournaments: the mystery bounty this weekend, and then the main event next weekend. I'm sure there's other tournaments in between. I'm not too privy of that, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
No worries. No worries.
I actually know the schedule. I can chime in on that. So starting tomorrow, they have a big mystery bounty event, and then starting Sunday through Thursday, they're running satellites, $140 satellites. 1 in 10 punch their ticket to the main, morning and evening. So they got one at like 11:15, and then they got one at like 7 in the evening every day from Sunday through Thursday. And the dates start next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are 1A, 1B, 1C. Monday is day 2, which plays down to a final table, and day 3 is the final table, which is Tuesday, I believe.
Okay, cool.
So, Brad,
Yep.
how soft are these $110 satellites?
They're pretty loose, especially early, because they're $140. People are trying to fire off, and people are willing to come in 2-3 times. So especially during that rebuy window, it's pretty loose, to be fair. To be fair, I played a sit and go satellite. I used to play sit and go satellites, and I haven't got it. They haven't ran the sit and goes this year yet, and I'd imagine during this next week they'll have some sit and goes for the state championships as well. But to put it to the point is, I go to sit down at one of the sit and go. We're sitting 10-handed, and 9 of the players wanted to do a flip and go for the ticket. Like, literally, if you guys don't know what a flip and go is, basically it's a bomb pot. Everybody goes all in, one hand, winner gets the ticket. And I was like, I'm not really down for that. So I sat out, let the 10th guy come in. They did the flip and go. The guy won his ticket, and I played with the other 9 losers. And but to the point is, like, they're really willing to fire off, especially in the rebuy window. Soft. I don't know. I'd call it soft, but there is some really, really good players out there. To be fair, I don't think Pat Lyons is playing $140 sit and go. But the Recs are pretty solid.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that information. Slice, do you have a question or comment for Ronnie?
Nope. Slice never has a comment. Sherry, come on.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Technical
difficulties.
there. Yep. All right. So, Ronnie, this week I gotta connect with you, especially when you head up to Arizona. You're going to be probably heading by, so let me know.
Yeah, if you're on the way, I definitely stop by for you. Right? You said you have a restaurant. I'll stop by for lunch. If it's on the way from Vegas to Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
not Vegas. You're in LA, right?
I am in LA, but I'm going to be heading back to Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. When you're heading back to Vegas, let me know.
I will.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Coco, I see you down there. Like, let us know when are you guys next on? I've been enjoying your thing. Honestly, like I want to be on there more, but I don't get to do it. I don't know. One of the funnest parts of the World Series this year, Ronnie, was hanging out with Snoop Dogg. I don't know if he's been to the World Series before, but I don't know. He felt like it was his first time there or something. He was like just he won the spot, and it was like you would think he was one of these guys. You ever see these guys like day one and they win a pot and the entire room knows, and he's just like having fun. Like it was
yeah.
just so much fun.
I like Snoop Dogg. I think he's got good energy, and I think he's a good
Heck
guy.
yeah.
I think he's really funny, and I like when he's on a panel. I come in because I think he's hilarious. He's one of the reasons why I jump in some of these spaces because he's
He's
cool and he makes
so
me laugh. And
funny. He is so
I hope
funny.
him and Coco continuously continue to do their spaces because I'm a fan of both of them, and I think they're a
Hey,
good team.
Ronnie, give us kind of a recap. Like how many events did you play this summer? Um, any memories that you'll never forget that just stand out in your mind?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple memories. I played I never really have a plan besides playing like the 8 or 9 tournaments I know I'm gonna play, and then I'll play when I feel like it. But I played a lot of tournaments this summer. I probably played 25 individual tournaments. I cashed in about 8 of them, or maybe 9. It's minimum 8 cashes. I had 2 final tables, but both were 9s, which was very, which sucked, but which was great. And I'm grateful, but when you get there, you want to win top 3. The 10K limit hold'em, I took 9 and I sold like 40% of myself, which is nice to be able to pay friends when they buy a piece of you. But 9th place is it's a $10,000 buy-in, and 9th place is 31,000, and you only have 60%. You profit about 12, 13K, which is a lot of money, but when you're playing a lot of tournaments, it's really not. So first place is 330,000, and you take 9th. And I went into the final table 3 of 10, and Josh Aria won that tournament. And out of everyone who played there, who were playing, I played the most amount of limit hold'em than anyone. Besides Daniel Adema, who's really, really good at limit hold'em.
Sure.
I play a lot of limit hold'em. This is what I do. I play 1,000, maybe 1,200 hours a year of limit hold'em cash, and these guys aren't. So to take 9th at that final table really hurt, but it was fun.
It was the one that Josh won?
Yes.
Yeah, it was the one that Josh won. And
so the end of that was really interesting too, Ronnie. There was the Japanese guy. That was the one with the Japanese guy, right?
Yeah, it was one with the Japanese guy, exactly. Yeah,
and he was just kind of just having he was having a lot of fun, and I said to Josh, we had him on one morning after it. I said it was a really interesting dynamic because they were 3-handed, and Josh was kind of trying to liven up, and play along and get that guy going. But you could tell him and Sean Deeb were all business. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They were having fun. They were getting the rest, and even I don't remember who the other players were that were left too. They were 4-handed, and they were getting them going too. And I think the other people that were left were pretty, from what I remember, top pros too. So
Nick Schulman made the final table. Nick Popillo made the final table. Daniel Adema, like I said, I think he finished 3rd or 4th. He was there.
I think it was him. Yeah. And he was kind of getting in. Yeah, I felt like that whole thing, Josh just really Dutch always teases me. Usually it's a bad thing. He's like, "Oh, you pulled your Jedi mind trick. Like I did something wrong," But like it worked out. But I feel like it was like this Jedi mind trick that Josh did there. He was like,
Josh wins for a reason. Josh, like, people can question his game sometimes, but he wins because he's a live pro, and he knows, he picks his spots well, and he's got a good feel for the game, and he has 6 bracelets for a reason. So like the guy knows how to fucking, maybe he does run a little better than others, but that's part of it. You got to run well, you got to play well, you got to put yourself in spots to win, and he does that. He gambles a lot. I know he's a really good PLO player. Yeah, that was a fun final table. And,
and his fiance, I gotta say, 4 bracelets in 3 years since he's been with her, so she's got to be part of this whole thing.
Yeah, I can say when your love life is going well and things are going well off the table, you're just better, man. Like, whenever I'm happy, it really reflects in my game, and whenever I'm sad, and whenever I got problems, either it be problems in relationships or friends or family, it really shows up in my game because I'm an emotional guy, and those are the days I shouldn't play because I really notice them in my results. Like, you really can't be focused if things are really awful off the table. It's not a good time, not a good place to be. You gotta have a good mindset approaching some of these events, and especially putting up a lot of money, you got to be focused.
100%. Absolutely.
Speaking of results, Sherry, we got to shout out to our sponsor.
Oh, speaking of results,
we're gonna jump to
Elevated Results.
We're gonna jump. Yeah, Elevated Results there. Get your training, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. We're not getting a condo in Vegas yet, Coco.
Yeah, we're not.
But when we do, Coco.
Hey, Coco.
Coco, when we do, you're first on the list. You're gonna move in there with Snoop Dogg.
Let's go.
We're gonna
Holy shit, party!
What's up, Coco?
What's up? What's up, Sherry?
Hey.
Everybody, Big Brain Brad.
What's up, Coco?
What up, Ronnie? Good to hear from you, big dog. Yeah, we were talking. I heard you talking about Snoop too. It's hilarious because somebody said it was his first series. It was, I know, and he's got that. He's got that new love, bro. I hear him every day. Every day I talk to him. Swear to God, on the phone. Every day for the last probably 10 days. Something during a poker game was the biggest of his life. I just made the biggest fold of my life. I won the biggest flip of my life. He loves it, bro. You know those people. It's like they're living and dying on everything. I love it. But he's actually on. He's on the stone bubble right now of a $125K guaranteed at the place in California where the circuit's going on.
I would die to see him win some big tournament. Coco, I thought it was so funny. I got up to Vegas. And he was, I don't remember even what event that was. He was, deep into not deep. It was like the end of the day one.
Colossus,
right?
He ran pretty deep. That was the one.
Yeah, so it was the end of day one. And so I go over there. I'm going to play the next day. And I thought I'll go say hi to Snoop. And then I'll go home. And I end up staying there till like the end. But the funniest part was he wins this pot and he's like going crazy. The whole room knows, like I was saying, and then he's like, I see the Poker News guy like coming around. I'm like, hey, Poker News, you got to get over here, and you know who this guy is? This is Snoop Dogg. He's like the next shining star of poker. You got to. So they start interviewing Snoop, and you would have thought like he was getting interviewed by he was like so starstruck. It was just funny.
Yeah, he doubled up yesterday in the event and texted me, and he said, I'm taking a ring back home to the Queen. I said, I love it.
That's awesome.
It's good to hear the excitement come from him because I'm like,
I met the Queen.
He's totally into it. He is so into it, hook, line, and sinker, and it's awesome.
I met the Queen, and he definitely outkicked his punt coverage.
Yeah, we've heard that.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he pulled that one off, Coco.
Oh, because he's Snoop Dogg, man. He's got that spot.
So I'm assuming he's at Grattan,
yes,
right? Or Gratton, or however you say it.
He's doing well today.
Yeah, hopefully. Good luck to. I was going to say good luck to Ronnie at Arizona also.
I appreciate that. Yeah, good luck to Snoop Dogg up there in Grattan. Hopefully he wins a ring.
Let's go.
You know, yeah, he's definitely a character. I can, you know, he's really funny,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Like, he's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. Um,
And you know the thing, Ronnie, it's like I feel the same way about you. Just like genuinely nice person, good heart. Like when I was going to say earlier, when I first got into poker, I didn't talk to people a lot because I had this, like idea that everybody was some of those people that we talked about earlier. And, and then I started meeting people and realized there's a lot of nice people in this community. There's a lot of people that do things in this community that just is not normal for any other community, and maybe it's sometimes without like a lot of fanfare or whatever. Phil Hellmuth, he like, think about, like, for as much of a promoter as Phil is, like, a lot of the stuff that he does, you don't hear about, and he does a lot of things for different people, or people like Matt Stout going around and doing those charity poker series and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of good people in this community, and it's just, you got to weed out and that kind of thing. That's why I say, like, a lot of times people, like, somebody that's new will question, like, well, this person seems like a nice person, and it's like, there's like a history, of that they're not aware of, and things like that.
Well,
So,
Ronnie, I don't know if you'll remember, but the first time I met you in person was actually at Matt Stout's event in 2019. I was taking photos at that event.
I do recall meeting you, Sherry. I definitely remember everybody's face, and I remember you. And I have a hard time with names, but I'm very good at remembering. I never forget a
Well,
face, so I do remember.
I'm just going to tell you, when I kind of every once in a while would just sit at the table so I can get a different angle at pictures. And I don't remember who was sitting next to you, but you guys were having so much fun, and the table was just laughing and giggling, and it just was a fun event. And Matt does a great job, of course, raising great funds. But
I try to show up for the TFP as much as I can. I try to show up for that event as much as I can. Does a lot for
it's
charity.
so fun. And you guys were having a great time, and I appreciated being able to be a part of it, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you can give back and in poker, it's great. It gives you a sense of, like, it's like you're doing something for society instead of just taking people's money. And then at the end of the day, we're competing against each other and taking people's money, right?
Right.
So giving back feels great. Taking care of loved ones like family, it feels good. And doing something else besides sitting there and just check raising all day, it's a good thing. So that's why you got foundations like All In for One Drop. The Win,
Yep.
and them just recently they left WSOP, which I think is great. And I think they belong more with Win Poker. And I think that in December is going to be a huge tournament. They're doing a $1 million buy-in, and hopefully I'll be able to commentate that event like I did for the 111K this year. They raised over 400, I think, like 400,000, close to $400,000 for serving serving communities that don't get clean water around the world.
Right. Right.
So I think that's great. So anytime there's like Dan Smith, another guy who gives millions of dollars away for charity, and thank you again, Brian, for talking me up. You don't have to do that. I appreciate that. That's why I went on Survivor, because I wanted to represent the poker world and show the poker world, that poker players aren't just what people think they are, just like hustlers and people who are, it's a stigma sometimes around poker players can be in people's minds, especially when people find out I play poker for a living. They're like, oh, so you're always drinking and going out, and you're the guy, like, you must have a great poker face. I'm like, I'm just a regular person, and I really wanted to represent the poker world. And because before me there was John Robert, Ballon, like, not saying anything against him, but he wasn't really known when he went on, right? Nobody knew who he was. And Anna Kate, we don't have to talk about Anna. She has her extremist views. And then Garrett, who was out right away himself. So we really haven't had much representation on that show. And for me, I really wanted, so it was unfortunate that I was out pretty early as well. So that's reason I went on. Obviously that, and I love the game and I wanted to win $1 million, right? So that's the reason why I went on the show.
Well,
Do they automatically tell the people that you're a poker player, or is that something that you told them?
That's something that I did not tell them. I told them that I worked as a poker dealer, and I also told them that I was in charge of advertising and marketing for macronutrient protein bar, Mad Macro, which I was. Which I had proof of the company during that time, and I was pushing this protein bar to help benefit like poker players and try to like give them good nutrition while they're on the run. And it did well for a little while, but the bar was too slimy, and my friend just dissolved the company because it's really a hard market to get into. There's so much competition. But it was fun.
Yeah. I remember that. You always had the bars with you at the table.
Mad Macro was fun. We had a fun run, and we had cereals, and it was good. But the company, eventually dissolved, and the guy who started the company is a good friend of mine. We're still close friends. Now he lives in Vegas, so his name is Jason Seguin. He's a good guy. But yeah.
Okay. Coco, so when are you guys coming back on the spaces, my friend?
We're going to go tomorrow, actually. Snoop just let me know. He was. We were thinking about going later tonight, but he's in the money right now.
Woo, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, so I think they're a few spots away from bagging up, but he said tomorrow would be better. And
well, so is it possible that we could have a Snoop Dogg final table?
Oh, I told him if he gets to a final table, we're doing somehow we're doing a watch along. I don't know how that would even work. We're going to be live.
so send out your correspondent there.
Yeah, he'll probably just keep it. Honestly, he'll probably just keep his speaker on at the table, knowing him. We'll just get a live play-by-play.
How fun would that be?
No, I would love it.
How fun would that be? Is the missus around where she could maybe go and do a sideline report?
They only live an hour from there, so I assume if he made a final table, as long as she's free, she could get down there to support.
That would be fun.
Oh yeah, she could maybe even be our sideline reporter.
Right.
For sure.
Okay, Hayden, you have any questions or comments for Ronnie or the rest of us? Hit that microphone button on the bottom left. Button on the bottom left. Hayden? Go ahead, Brad. Well, we wait on Hayden.
Hey, so I got a question for you, Ronnie. And in essence, shout out to Matt at the bottom there, down there, Venge Money. With you were talking about your nutrition bars, and it made me think about the restaurant that he started up. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you're somehow inadvertently like part of it. And if I'm wrong, correct me. But if nothing else, shout out to Matt and his restaurant. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so you are correct. I am an investor in the restaurant. I'm one of like 7 poker players who are all really nice. Everybody who's in is super sweet. Like Mark Gregorich, Callum McNeil. As you know, Matt's basically his wife, who runs the restaurant, is an investor as well, and my majority owner of the restaurant. Julian Martini, Justin Peachy, and then the chef who has a big piece as well. Like. It's called Yohama Noodles. It's located at 515 Spring Mountain on the corner of Spring Mountain and Decatur. We're basically a ramen restaurant, but not just ramen. Like we have a twist on ramen, and we have lots of traditional Thai food like koi soy, beef, and chicken. We have amazing appetizers. We're just growing. We just opened 2 months ago. We really haven't had our grand opening. We're kind of had our soft opening. I've introduced the restaurant to a lot of people.
Hello? Brian, did you hit the mute button?
I did not.
Maybe he cut out.
Maybe he just cut out.
Can you hear us, Ronnie?
Might have been my fault because I was trying to save the address, so I texted.
Oh yeah, Ronnie.
Fail. So
Ronnie, give us that address
it's
again.
515 Spring Mountain. It's just 515. It's a big plaza or upstairs. It's a great restaurant. We have a lot of good food, and I've had everybody who's gone. I've really enjoyed the cuisine. We have the one of the executive chefs who came over from Resorts World. She's she's invested in herself. So everybody, like, what I'm saying is the chef and the young lady who runs it, Nacha, they're putting their heart and soul in this restaurant. It's amazing food, and our prices are very competitive. Very competitive with the other restaurants in the area. I think it's pretty cheap, to be honest, and for what you're getting, it's great value, and it's a great restaurant. You should check
All
it
right,
out.
tell us the name one more time, Ronnie.
Yohama Noodles. Yohama Noodle.
Awesome.
There we go. Perfect.
Thank you so much. I can't wait.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's great. It's
Definitely.
great.
Hey, Ronnie. Quick question for you. So, what do you think about the Challenger?
The show, The Challenge?
Hayden, what can you describe what you're talking about, Hayden? Do you mean the Challenger, the car, the show?
No, I'm sorry, the show, The Challenger.
Yeah, I think it's called The Challenge, right? I don't know if it's called The Challenger. I'm not sure. I've only watched it like
I saw it last night. That's why I was just curious what you thought about it. I'm sorry.
I watch some TV. I'm a big guy. I love movies and I like some shows. When it comes to like reality TV, although I was on a reality television show, I don't watch too much reality television, because it's very time consuming. But I heard it's a really good show. A lot of my friends love it. I'm not too familiar with the show. I've watched a couple episodes. I think it's cool. I'm just kind of biased Survivor. I like the show Survivor, and it's the show where they go around the world and they compete for trying to get to a stop before anyone else.
Oh, Ronnie, we can't hear you, bud. He's losing service. We'll give him a minute, and hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah. So I'll definitely go by there and support Ronnie. I'm going to be in town, so I'll definitely go check that out.
I can't wait for your food critique. I'm sure it's delicious.
And I love ramen. Honestly, any noodle.
Yes.
Yep, you're back.
Yeah, Thai food, ramen food. If you're a big fan, and we have some other like Japanese dishes. Like it's just a really good fusion, and the quality you're gonna get is top notch. Like they're putting a lot of work into crafting their dishes, and because Vegas is a very competitive place. Like when you're the only Thai restaurant or ramen restaurant in the middle of a town, you don't have to really put that much work in, But when you have like literally hundreds of other restaurants competing for that space, you can't half-ass, right? So, I know they're doing everything they can to provide the best service and the best food. So you should definitely give it a try.
And some of the best places in Vegas that I've been to, like off the strip, are places like you're describing, where you have a chef that used to be the head chef at this probably world famous restaurant inside a big resort, and now they're off and in some ways it's like even better than what it was when they were at wherever they were at, because they can kind of like, I mean, these people a lot of times are like artists, like they want to create and stuff like that, and so you can get something that's really just that you can't get anywhere else.
And it's nice that you don't have to mess around being on the strip to get it. It's off the strip, which is nice as far as traveling.
Yeah.
Living in Vegas has been, for spending time there. Sorry, Sherry, I apologize.
Oh no, that's okay, honey. Honestly, it's kind of hard for me to hear sometimes. So sometimes I don't realize someone else is talking, so it's my fault. So,
hey, Sherry, can I ask one more question?
Sure, honey, go ahead.
Hey, Ronnie, what's your top 2 favorite foods?
My top 2 favorite foods. That's a very tough question. I would say I love Moroccan food. I like Morocco, like generally the Israeli food. Being a little biased, I love like Mediterranean cuisine, like and like fish and seafood. And I like Japanese as well. So I would say like Mediterranean, like when it comes like not to put them all in this like just an umbrella, but Greek, Israeli, Moroccan, anything that comes from the like Mediterranean diet type, I really like. I'm not a huge, even though I'm part Italian and Sicilian, I do like Italian food, but I don't like anything that weighs me down. I kind of like clean cuisine, lots of like, spices and flavor, and I love Japanese cuisine. I really like Japanese food, and I like French food as well. So I would say top 2, maybe like Moroccan and Japanese.
Perfect. Thanks. That's awesome.
How about yours? What's your favorite 2?
I'm a big Japanese guy and Italian. Italian guy.
Nice. Italian's great. You can't go wrong. I really love steak, by the way, too. I like a really good cooked steak, like grass-fed Wagyu or something.
I totally agree. That, it's
the
something to only pick
Musashi.
2. Yeah.
Y'all are making me hungry now.
I'm actually starving right now. I have to answer that question. I just got hungry too out of nowhere, so I'm really hungry.
Well, for those of you that may be interested, I put in our chat one of the pictures that I was talking about from the charity event. And Ronnie, you don't need to look at it because you're driving. I tweeted it so you can see it later. But you can just see the joy on the faces of those folks at that charity event. They're doing something good for the community. We were raising funds for the food bank in Vegas. And they were playing poker, and you could just see how much fun they were having. So, and to me, that's poker. That's how poker should be.
Ronnie, I have some advice for you if you're not the person running the day-to-day in the restaurant. Just stay away from yelling. Go on there. And actually, like when you think that like what you eat and what you like, like people have little different tastes, but you think there's some kind of like commonality there, and there really isn't. Like it's really such a subjective thing, and it is hard. Like you have this person. We had somebody write us a review one time because they didn't know that he was made with fish, and so
Brian, you're cutting out, pal.
And obviously, like you want to be able to catch like things that are problematic, but but if you're not the person that's like responsible for the day-to-day, like listening to these things, what was that thing a couple months ago, Sherry, that I had where the guy probably shouldn't say it with my kid in the car here, but it talked about somebody was listening to somebody's opinion, and then they found them in a certain group that was pretty shocking, and realized that they were listening to somebody that didn't have really good opinions. So anyway.
Anybody else have any more comments or questions for Ronnie or the rest of us? I'm going to let Kaiser up. Go ahead, Kaiser. You have a question or comments?
Go ahead, Kaiser.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, you don't have to call me sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, great.
Do you have any comments or questions for Ronnie?
Who?
For Ronnie, our guest.
Oh, right. Yeah, what's he, how's he going to make his money over the next year and a half?
How am I going to make money the next year and a half?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I mean, like, I don't know.
Were you the one that, sorry, I've got another little question beforehand, perhaps. Were you the one that said he played 25 games in a month, something.
Yeah, and I'm on the low end. I don't play that many tournaments. There's people that played like 80 tournaments in a month because they keep busting one. They'll play like 3 or 4 in a day.
Yeah.
They just go to different property, at the poker world. So
all live.
I don't play that many tournaments.
All live stuff, yeah.
Yeah, all live stuff.
Nice, fucking up. How'd you get that many invites? I mean, how the hell did you get invited to games like that?
He was actually playing at the World Series of Poker.
Oh, so they know him, do they?
Invites, yeah, they're no invites. You can just show up. You got the money. You can just play in any tournament you want. That's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, but how much do you need? Like, can you do entry pools, sort of get in that way?
I'm sorry?
Can you do like runner games or whatever they're called to get into these tournaments? You know, just 10 quid, 50 quid, and then get you into the World Series or whatever.
Yeah, they got like satellites and stuff like that. Yeah, you can. There's a lot of qualifiers and there's smaller tournaments around the. There's like 7 different properties or maybe more running different events throughout the whole summer. But yeah, you can like you say run events. I'm sure like you mean satellites or qualifiers. Yeah, there's something for 50 quid you can get in. I'm sure. There's lots of shit going on in Vegas during the summer. So
Well,
yeah.
thank you for those questions, Kaiser. Brad, did you have something to add?
I just wanted to close up on a couple thoughts with the Arizona State Championship. A huge shout out to Stephen Jones, who finished second in the WSOP main event this year, finished 14th in the Arizona State Championship last year. We were talking about the Arizona State Championship, so I can't believe I forgot to mention Stephen Jones. He's a local, so big shout out to Stephen Jones. Jeremy Brown is also a local reg out here. If you don't know Jeremy Brown, him and Olivier Bousquet ended up heads up at WPT Borgata, I don't know, a decade ago. Jeremy Brown had like 98% of the chips heads up, as drunk as anybody I've ever seen, heads up on a final table. And Olivier Bousquet took him to school. And but he's a local. He'll be there. So big shout out to Stephen Jones, though. I can't believe I forgot to mention his name. He finished 14th in the Arizona State Championship, WSOP main event, second place. Ronnie, nothing but love and respect for all that you do on and off the felt, man. Mad respect to you. Sherry, Software Brian, appreciate you giving me the mic today. And Coco, Bobby showing up on HCL. And August 21st, I believe it's Max Payne Monday.
Is it this Monday or next Monday?
I think it's next Monday.
Yeah, the 21st. It's definitely the 21st. And if anybody wants a piece of his action, he'll be happy to accept.
I just wanted to make my final rounds on shout outs, and I really, really, really appreciate all of y'all. Like, seriously, like,
yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Brad. Love you. Much love, brother.
Giving this space is a little love, and giving Sherry, some love. It's nice. I have 20 more minutes to my destination. I get to the Commerce Casino, so I'm here until then. Then I gotta like get valet and get my stuff in my room and get into a session. So yeah, I'm here on the panel for another 20. So I'm down. Whatever, talk about anything y'all want to talk about. So let me know.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And anybody has any questions, hit your request button in the bottom left so you can come up and ask Ronnie any questions or offer some comments.
I do have a question, or like maybe like just a general conversation with Ronnie. He touched on this, and I thought this was like really, really important. And I think this gets overlooked in the poker world a lot. Everybody's so worried about studying and GTO and all that. But he talked about the off the felt health and mentality and how that affects you on the felt. Is there anything that you do like pre-game, post-game, anything to that effect that on the off the felt stuff that you do that you feel that has value to the on the felt performance? Anything in that realm, I think is so important that doesn't get talked about enough.
So I'm happy you brought that up, and I think that's overlooked a lot. And I see a lot of people burn themselves out and waste a lot of their youth. You know, I will never forget this. When I was about 22 years old, I was a lot of hours in that Foxwood. And this older Asian, I think she was Chinese lady, looked at me and she goes, "Don't waste your young years in the casino. Make sure you have fun." And I held on to that for my whole career. And I think diet, exercise, does play. You got guys like Sean Deeb who'll be like, "LOL, I eat what I want." I was overweight for my whole career. There's exceptions, the guys that just put tons of hours in and crush. But I think it's really important in having hobbies off the table, and I think it's really important to spend time with your loved ones and not be a complete degen. And it's really hard. I think being a successful poker player is half the battle is legitimately have nothing to do with poker, right? It's like money management, picking the best games, not having an ego, not staying up overnight and playing tons of hours, having healthy relationships with family and friends and your significant other, and just working more on yourself and trying to be as good as a human as you can. We're all human. We all make mistakes. I think learning from your mistakes is another big thing. I think, it's just, there's so many different things, and it's not for everyone, I have people who inbox me, especially during like a lot of my success in the mid 2010s, like 14, 15, 16, hitting me up like, how do I become a professional poker player? It's just a very hard question to answer in short, right? So I just think, being a professional poker player, there's a lot of things you need to learn, and you have to just deal with a lot of it in your own experience. I just say, get out there, don't quit your day job. I think, keeping good records is very important. Knowing where your money, because a lot of guys a lot of men and women play poker, and they have a regular job, and they'll just they don't know how much they're losing or winning, and they don't want to. And you have to see this. You have to log the hours, and you have to keep good records so you know how much you're making per hour, or what games you're doing better at, or what days you're doing best, or what location and what game, and playing playing with the best players in the world is not going to make you the money. Playing with people you can actually beat, will make you money, and you just have to check your ego at the door. And I think a lot of people miss that, and a lot of people, you got guys out there, man, who are amazing at poker. They're some of the best talent I've ever seen, but they're unsuccessful because they're up till 4 a.m. and they make bad decisions, and they're drinking and then doing drugs, and they're just like managing their money awful, and they're just playing above their bankroll, and they don't know how to grind. They don't know how to step down. They don't know how to take it in stride. They just make awful decisions, and you can get, unfortunately, like very, very small amount of people who try to make a living play poker actually do it, and like I said, you just gotta be very aware. And I think being very self-aware in poker, it pays off. So, and I can keep going about this subject on and on and on and on.
Well,
And I think
I think this is a good segue to talk about our sponsor, Elevated Results. Um, they will help you with your weight gain or weight loss and your healthy habits being formed, as well as diet habits through nutritional programs. So, Elevated Results may be able to help you get on a good, path as far as health and fitness. So, thank you, Elevated Results.
I think yeah, I appreciate that, Sherry. Thank you for remembering to do that. Ronnie, I want to touch on what you said though. Like, I think it is okay. I mean, it all depends, right? So, why are you playing poker, right? It, there is a certain reality of people that are just want to come and play a game and have fun. But if you're somebody that wants to be a professional, like, don't bullshit yourself, you know. And there's things that you've got to do to do that if you're gonna be a professional, So if you're I keep coming back to this. I heard a guy on the Spaces spouting off about how he's a pro, and then didn't have any idea what his win rate was or anything like that. Um, and it's like, um, that's most people, and that's okay. But like, don't kid yourself that you're a professional, and you're not doing those things. Like, if you're out there studying the Sims and all of these things, but you're not keeping track, like I don't know how that works. It's like trying to run a business and not paying attention to the books. So I think that's key. Like what you said, I totally agree with. And it's okay to be that person that goes to Vegas or whatever, and you're just whatever, you're just there to have a good time, or your friends, whatever, or even going to the World Series, whatever. Like, you're just there to have a good time, and that's fine.
Yeah,
And maybe even
this is like
whatever.
answering Brad's question and answering Brad's question. And but yeah, of course, there's nothing wrong with going out there and not doing it for a living and enjoying it. But obviously, everybody who plays is there to win. They want to compete and they want to win.
Right.
There's nobody who comes and just says, "I'm going to blow 10,000 today because I just feel like it." I mean, sometimes you'll see it, very rare. Somebody's just like, "I'm giving money away. I'm playing blind." But most people, no matter how rich you are, no matter what your story is, you want to win. Especially in tournament poker, you show up to try to win first place, and that's just the nature of the game. And yeah, you can't bullshit yourself. You got to be real with yourself. And there's a lot of delusional people in this game, and there's a lot of delusional people in the music world and in Hollywood.
Yeah.
A lot of people who think they can sing or act, and they just go on and on and on, and they're struggling at it. And they kind of build this illusion for other people to give them money, and I'm very good. And there's a lot of people who pay super high markup for a lot of people that don't deserve it, and that's just what it is. It's not. It's unfortunately, poker is not going to award the guy who's doing the right thing. Sometimes people get their hands and scam and and take advantage of other people getting money and very good at networking or very good at doing other things. And that's just like in any profession, that's the same. So, but to answer Brad's question, I think to become successful at this game, there's a lot more than just being able to play the cards and put the money in the pot and being able to read your opponent and knowing. Obviously, that's the most important because it makes it for half, in my opinion. But
Right.
there's a lot of components that fall into becoming successful, and that's like a lot of things you have to be very strict at, and things come naturally for a lot of people. It comes naturally for a lot, and for a lot it doesn't, unfortunately. So
those are great points, Ronnie. Thank you for sharing those with us. I want to give Barry a chance. Barry, do you have any questions or comments?
I guarantee I'll be better than that Kaiser Soze guy. I'm surprised we didn't have a string of fucking porn videos on top after that guy got done.
Behave yourself.
Ronnie, I remember Foxwoods back in the days playing Limit Hold'em and 7-card stud with Stewie and those guys back in the early 2000s. I remember Foxwoods when it was a bingo part, which was in an airplane hangar, and you had to walk through the mud to play high stakes bingo. So I remember. I'm trying to see if I remember you from back in those days, but
yeah, I mean, I looked really different back then. I looked like I was Dominican. I used to line my hair up and wear Timberlands and big baggy jeans.
Oh, you're cutting out, Ronnie.
My dad at 10 years old. I was there with all the other kids and when they opened that kid zone up across from the Pequot, and when they used to smoke in the poker room, because my dad used to play in there, and when it was downstairs, first downstairs, and it moved upstairs in the late 90s and went back downstairs, like, I was a kid back then, so maybe you don't remember me, but I've heard you in the spaces. I really enjoy listening to you because you remind me of the Northeast Jew. It's hilarious. I'm obviously Jewish myself, so no disrespect there. But I love your energy. I love your jokes, and you make me laugh. But yeah, Foxwoods was great. Like I enjoyed Foxwoods. I really had a great time there. Like I cut my teeth there. Like I played a lot of Limit Hold'em, Limit Stud, and my dad played there for years. So I think Foxwoods, when it was in its heyday, was a special, fun place, and I really enjoyed Foxwoods.
yeah, I remember when they kept moving around the poker room. It was downstairs, it was upstairs, and then you show up one year and the room is just filled with slot machines, and you don't know where to go. Yeah, I remember those days before the second tower they had. Yeah.
I moved down there. I lived in New London for a year, basically. I lived in Mystic. I had an apartment in Mystic, and I used to come down from Brockton, Mass, all the time. That hour and 15-minute drive, I did it all the time. I would stay in Two Trees or Cedars or Pequot or all the time. Like I was a fixture there. It's where I made a living for 10 years, and there was a lot of characters that come out of it was like a meeting place for New York and Boston, and it was all the characters, all the nicknames, and it definitely will hold a place in my heart. And there was a lot of memories being made down there. All the satellites and shit. We used to have the 10K tournament that came twice a year for like 4 or 5 years, and that's how I built my bankroll, was playing those axe satellites, and I had a good time. I had a lot of good times.
Yeah, I always played those satellites. I would always win two, so I had to play one, and I was always able to sell one, but I never was able to make any noise in the main event. And
those events are huge. They give a lot of money away.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mark Grigorich. I remember 2010 in California. I knocked him out of the final table of a horse tournament, and we became friends ever since. I've been playing his football pool ever since.
I'm dead money in those football pools. I get in the Survivor. I've never done anything because I stink. But yeah, Mark Grigorich or Gregorich, I've heard people pronounce it both ways. He's a class act. That guy is like a very well trusted person in the poker world, and he's just like one of the coolest people I've ever met. I look up to that man in a lot of ways. I love that guy. That guy's always look out for me. He's always, whatever I need, he's always taking care of me. That guy's class act.
Yeah, I never cashed in any of them either, but I stopped since COVID. But probably for 9 years straight, I played in his Survivor that he had. Really nice guy.
Yeah, he's the man. He's a cool dude. Him and David Baker. Those guys are like, they're just, they're the guys, like you can trust those guys, and it feels good to have people in the poker world where they're their word's their bond, and they got good hearts and they're good people. And I look up to those guys. So I love those guys.
Well, and we hear about the bad often, so it's nice to hear about the good, Ronnie.
Yeah, the bad.
So, Ronnie, is that the David Baker that won the Raz this year?
ODB. Dave. Yeah, no, ODB. We're talking about ODB. Not David. Young David Baker is cool too. He
was standing at the final table, and he was down to like one big bet, and I'm standing next to the other guys there, and started talking about the bracelet. Yeah. So don't ever do that. If you're on my rail and I'm heads up and you talk about the bracelet, you're being ejected from the World Series of Poker. Go hang out with Eden.
It's like a perfect game that's going for a pitcher, right? Yeah. He's sitting at the bench on the side, like in the dugout, away from everybody. Nobody's talking to him. Nobody's talking to him about what's happening, right?
Yeah. Don't talk about the bracelet. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. And then, I was standing by Ray. What's his name? Ray? I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he hangs out with all those guys all the time. You know who I'm talking about, Ronnie.
You're talking about Ray.
Anyway, so and I wanted to tell them what the other guys were doing, but then I didn't want to do the reverse jinx. So I'm like, I'll just keep my mouth shut till after this is over. And then he just pulls this unbelievable comeback. And then PokerGo doesn't get it on. He's making this comeback. First off, you got to realize, I get the idea that they don't know that he's going to make that comeback. However, they had come to try to film the final hand 4 or 5 times with the other guy winning it, right? And so they had footage of him being all in, and all they had to do when he made his comeback is go live and show those spots and then talk about it. And man, that's the thing that I wish they could do a little bit better, but I guess it's just hard from a production standpoint to just spin it up in those moments. But I that's what I kind of miss. Seems like, Ronnie, do you think back in the day, with Tuckman, when he had the booth over there, they could do that kind of thing a lot easier, right? Just spin it up and go,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
They have the capabilities to do anything they want. I mean,
Yeah, it just seemed like they did that kind of thing a lot easier. So anyway, next week, Sherry, I already have our guest lined up.
We do.
And gonna be a good one. I'll give a hint, Brad. I'm gonna give you a hint. You can't guess who it is because maybe you'll get it based on this hint. But I'll say this. When I told my daughter who it was, she was like really like excited because this person did really well in the main event this year, and she was hoping they were going to win. So,
Well, and I'm going to say that that space will also be sponsored by Elevated Results. And Ronnie, we are happy you joined us this evening, but I think we're going to let you go, bud. And good luck with your upcoming events. And we appreciate you visiting with us, and Brad and Barry. And I see Ryan's in the space, and Poker Pro Eric, and FTW. And I see Caw in here, Mike McDonald, and even Towley. So we appreciate you, Anthony, and everyone else that joined us tonight. Donna, Joe, we appreciate you. And Ronnie, thank you so much.
Can I say one more thing before I go?
Please.
I just want to let everybody know about the Aruba Caribbean Poker Series going on from October 21st to September 21st to October 1st. It's an amazing festival. If you are looking for a place to relax and get some sun and see one of the nicest beaches in the world, and not to brag, I've been to a lot of beaches around the world, and Palm Beach, Aruba is one of the nicest destinations. The water stands still. It's 81 degrees every day, like Groundhog Day. We have a $1,200 main event. I mean, if you've never been to Aruba, the room rates at the Hilton are amazing. It's my pinned tweet on my Twitter. If you want more information, hit me up. Poker rates like $220 in. It might seem a little expensive, but it's really not in terms of what you're getting for value. You can share a room. It's really, really, really fun and one of the best poker vacations you'll ever have. Vacation first, poker second. I'll be down there with Ebony Kenny, Ray Henson, and
Sherry, my tweeter tweeted out, and I can't hear anybody.
Yeah.
So
Okay, he's still Brian. Just quiet for just one moment. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah. Anyhow, I just wanted to let you guys know about Aruba. I'm really passionate about the people. I'm really passionate about the event, and I really love the island. They're nothing but sweet people, and they're so happy, and they're so humble down there. And unlike a lot of the other Caribbean islands, not bad naming some of them, but people leave you alone. It's very safe. It's such a beautiful place, and I just want people to be able to see Aruba in their lifetime. And it's just, if you love poker and if you love vacation, like it's a great combination of both. And I'll be there in about a month and a half. So before I'm leaving, taking off, I just want to let you guys know about that. And it's my pinned tweet. If you want to see the schedule and everything. So
I'm glad you did let us know about that. Aruba event is September 21st through October 1st. See Ronnie's Twitter for the pinned tweet for more information. It sounds amazing. I wish I could come this year, but I don't see it happening. But hopefully next year. I actually was trying to make it work out last year, but it didn't work out. But Ronnie,
it's gonna be bigger and bigger every year, Sherry. And when you get a chance to come out, you let me know. I'll see if I can throw you a few breakfasts in there on your stay on me. And it's gonna be great. We just came out with the ring for the idea for the Caribbean series. And if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Ronnie_Bardah, and on Twitter you see me here. I'll be doing live stories about the event. And yeah, just like when I'm down there, if you can't make it, you can kind of live through me being down there, and I'll be posting a lot when I'm there. So that's all I wanted to say. But I appreciate you guys so much for having me on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, pal. Good luck.
Take care, guys.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Take it down, Ronnie. I can't hear you, but love you, buddy, and hopefully see you and maybe this week.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, take care, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.